Hello. That's exciting news, Ruth. Welcome to another Wednesday. Hello, we're starting just a couple minutes early. Not quite exactly on time. We're not at time. We're starting early, so we're way more than on time. Hello to Aimless. Bonjour, Paul. Ruth, that's really cool news. Hi there, Mike G. Hello to Saban. And welcome, Bill J. So it's that weird time in February where Arizona starts preparing for way too crazy temperatures, where it's like going to be like 90 next week. And then I've got coworkers that it's like 4. So and like 4 might actually be high for Minnesota right now. I don't know if Dre's here, but yeah. So, and I'm trying to think let's see, 90 minus 32 divided by roughly 2. What would that be? So that's like 58. That's like 29 Celsius, maybe 28 Celsius. So I always forget. But yeah, it's starting to get warm. Welcome, Colette. So yeah, and I'm in like a hoodie and stuff just because I'm in the house. We have friends in Colorado, and they were teasing us because my girlfriend and I had a picture out on. We were outside on Sunday. Okay, it's 32 Celsius. Thank you, Ruth. And we both were wearing hoodies. It was before we started moving around and exercising, so it was kind of cold. Hello to Gabrielle. So we are right about time. If you are new here for some reason and you find yourself here, welcome. We're pleased to have you. More Than Maybe, which is the working title. Never came up with a better title than that. Hello to Dre. And we do a 25-minute sit, usually with a little bit of light guidance. Today, we're going to go with... we're going to do nothing for our whole 25 minutes, roughly. I'll set up the normal posture and things like that at the beginning, and then we'll switch over into just a main do nothing sit. For those that don't know me, I am Andrew. I'm a unified mindfulness meditation coach. Most will know me as the sometimes fill-in guest host and most times moderator for the Do Nothing Project. And Aaron is going to be your guide or your guest host on Sunday. So Aaron Oak from the executive director of Consciousness Explorers Club. So that'll be fun. And so yeah, that's that. And then I am still attempting to outline curriculum. So I took, hey Brian, took a little bit of a side detour after learning about the structure of developing a curriculum and how that is supposed to happen. And so now that I've done that, I'm sort of going back to the drawing board a little bit, but trying to plan on having some structured mindfulness material for March. March is rapidly approaching, which makes me a little more stressed about that, but I want to have and that'll be on the Substack and also here on YouTube, and potentially in PDF forms that you can download, and maybe we'll see if I get that. I stole a PDF from Austin Kleon recently. So one sheet, you can fold this and turn it into a zine. And I like how Austin makes sure to point out how to say zine. And it's 10 things I love, and I'm going to have 10 things I love about mindfulness. So that'll be a thing. So yeah, March is a march towards march toward, I think it's toward, not towards, more mindfulness. I think it's toward singular. Ruth would know. All right. Any other thoughts, questions? We'll have some time after for questions or reports. Not a Patreon thing, actually, Paul, but there'll be some, I think. So the Substack has some way of doing support, I think. Oh, hey, welcome, Lynn. And hopefully I said hi to everybody. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna pretend to be prompt. As I stare at my phone for a little bit longer than I would like to. Okay. There we go. We got 25 minutes on the clock. And I'm going to invite the bell and we'll begin. So, welcome. Thank you for being here. All right. So, as I begin my meditations, I'm always looking to establish my posture. It's really just to give myself a supportive base for the meditation. I'm going to talk about, or I'm going to give you cues and prompts around the seated posture, either on a chair, a cushion, or maybe a bench. You could be standing, lying down, or walking. It's all totally valid, totally fine. I'm just beginning with the notion of aligning the spine. We're looking for upright, but not uptight. Making sure our shoulders are not up by our ears, but down. And then if it feels good, down and back a little bit. And then briefly checking to kind of see what your inner weather is like. Are you slow-ish feeling? Are you feeling buzzy? Is there kind of a languid quality? What's it like? And really just doing so to acknowledge where we start. Always open to change, but not forcing the change. And then a few deliberate breaths. Slow and low is the tempo we're going for. Breathing in through the nose allows us to really slow down that breath, which allows our breath to go low into the belly. And as the inhale turns around and becomes the exhale, seeing if we can extend and accentuate that exhale. And again, not putting any expectations on our experience, but sometimes a few deliberate breaths is enough to shift from our initial internal weather to more relaxed and alert internal weather. And then for our time tonight together, we're going to do nothing. So we can think of that as just sitting, as one way of thinking about it, or one way of framing it. Or sitting and knowing that we're sitting. Or the more precise Shinzen Young instructions of sitting and letting go of any intention to control our attention. And then lastly, if you feel like an intention to kind of micromanage your attention come up, letting that go. If you let that go 2 or 3 times, and it keeps coming back up, then sort of allow that to be the activity. Just let that go. An example is that when I first started meditating, I counted my breaths all the time. So sometimes when I'm practicing do nothing, the mind will just start counting breaths. So I let go of it. The mind counts breaths again. I let go of it. And it keeps counting breaths, and I let it go. So just allow it to count. So I'll be a little more quiet than usual and let you explore on your own. Check in about middle way through. Just a reminder for your options. So if the do nothing technique isn't supporting kind of your attention at this moment, then a good match. So if you're feeling spacey, you can switch to a noting technique. And that can help with that. So that's the same thing as working with a home base in Jeff's framing. So we're picking a home base like the breath or sounds, noticing that our concentration is on that, and then optionally using a label. When we've strayed, no big deal. Kindly, with care, bringing the attention back. Again, an option, don't have to do that. If we're feeling we're using do nothing as our technique and we're feeling spacey, and that's a way to shift and match the technique to where you're at. All right. So with that, I'll let you continue and keep exploring. invite the bell to signal the end of our sit. Thank you for your continued practice, and may our actions be for the benefit of all beings. You are super welcome, Amos, and Lynn as well. You're welcome. So, as I mentioned, on Sunday, Aaron will be your host for guest host for the Do Nothing Project. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So, well, hi Trisha, and you are super welcome. Dre and Paul and Gabrielle is welcome as well. And thank you for looking that up, Ruth. For some reason, I think we've talked about this before, that it was Tord is the more common US version. So, yeah, so we've got another week in February, and then we'll start in March. In March, I'm trying to look at having kind of like practice check-ins on Zoom. I know I've teased this idea, but I'm mentioning it one more time. So if you haven't, I think everybody here, I think I recognize most everybody's names. But if you haven't joined the mailing list, you can send an email to the email or address I just posted in chat. And then I'm collecting other practice communities. So I think it's DeMaglio. Chris DeMaglio is another UM. He's a core teacher. He's like above my level. And then there is a retreat coming up with Ralph, Aaron McCarthy, and Meg Salter that is in the Niagara Falls area. So for our Torontonians, very, very close to the 6th. And okay. Sorry, Esquin. And maybe that's it's okay. We had this. This is like a thing all over again. So it's May, not March. May. So May 2nd through the 9th. And then let me switch my phone to airplane mode because I didn't do that. So that may be why my microphone is clipping and breaking up. Okay, so broken sound for Paul too. Hopefully it's getting a little better, maybe. Hopefully. The interwebs will heal themselves. Okay, good. All right. So that may have been my phone. Okay. All right. That makes sense. I forgot to switch to airplane mode on that. Sweet. Okay. So if I were in the Niagara Falls area, those are 3 excellent teachers, Ralph, Meg, and Aaron McCarthy, not Aaron Oak. So different Aaron, same awesome. And yeah, and then if you don't have it in the mornings, Kevin Lacroix has a silent sit that he hosts, and that's another opportunity. Yeah, I think there's maybe another, because I know I think Jude may host a weekly sit as well. And then of course there's Monday nights. Yeah. Hey, Erin McCarthy is she's done some really cool mindfulness courses. Yeah, and they're all through Morning Bell is through Seeds Meditation. You're right, Paul. Morning Bell is the name of Kevin Lacroix's morning sit. And Kevin has been doing that now. Gosh, is it more than 5 years? I want to say it started around the pandemic, but so that would make it about 5. Yeah, that'd make it about 5 years. So anyway, just trying to make sure folks know. Okay, so it did start in 2020. And then at some point I'll mention it again, but if you're on the West Coast side, there's a mostly silent sit hosted in the morning by my Sangha, the Upaya Sangha of Tucson. That's just pure, it's zazen, but just sitting, similar to what we practice for the do nothing technique. And that's at 6:30, 6:30 Mountain, or 6:30 Arizona time. Saban and Aimless will understand that. That was the other thing. I just said we have one more week in February. How do we access that? I will email you that, Ruth. But yes, I'll let you know. And there's a website. So it's relatively straightforward to find. And then I sit with Sokokoji often on weekdays. They're a monastery in Michigan area. So but I mention all of these things in my incredibly fun and endearing, charming, rambling manner because I'm going to put them together at some point here, and they'll be part of the resources for March. But I've been gathering them. And then I meditated my face off with Carl I's group on yesterday. So that was Zoom format, quick introduction, 15-minute sit, and then discussion as a group. So I felt a little bit like an interloper, but yeah. So that was a fun thing. So I'd mentioned that previously, and I had gone to their gratitude group, but I hadn't gone to the Meditate Your Face Off. So what is March called? An excellent question, Paul. So I'm tagline for it is a march toward more mindfulness. And the more is sort of key because I think we all have a baseline level of mindfulness. And so the big thing is just kind of starting from what we already have and then building up. So yeah, I've been very curious as well, Gabrielle. She is great. Her sits during the pandemic were a super treat, and I really appreciated her blunt and frank conversations. Yeah. All right. Speaking of my Zen Sangha, I have book club to go to. So you are rapidly approaching the top of the hour in case you have to go somewhere and disappear. Thank you so much for being here and making time. Thank you to the recorded viewers watching this. We really appreciate it as well. And look at all those likes. And I didn't even have to ask. I didn't have to say like and subscribe and click that bell. So appreciate it. And in case you need a meditation, there's always the wabi sabi clock. So bye now.